So I had just finished wrapping up the consistency testing with the rocket valves, and then this guy showed up. So I had ordered this, and then it finally showed up at my door. So this is the Waldo Customs impasse, the Crimson VFC impasse. The claim is that this impasse will improve the consistency of your VFC fast blowback rifle if it's in the range of zero point 0.9 to 1.2 joules. Okay. Now I ordered two of these, and this is the second one. I've already opened the other one. One thing I will say is I really like the material it's made out of. I'm not sure what kind of nylon this is. It doesn't look like it's um, injected with any like carbon or anything. It's a really smooth, slick, like shiny nylon. I don't really don't know what to call it, but I really like it. Whereas if you look at the VFC impasse, you can tell it's been like infused with some kind of extra material. Um, but anyway, yeah. So basically, this should be a drop-in fit. Now I've already looked this over compared to the VFC impasse. Everything's pretty much the same. I mean, the dimensions are like 0.02 millimeters off. So for the most part, it's the exact same with the exception of the opening right here. So let's go ahead and see how wide that is. So we're looking at 348 millimeter. Okay. Now, really quick, just to go back and show you the stock VFC impasse, we're at 5.19. That does vary. 5.19. So, and I have a bunch of these. So this one is at 519. This one's at 3.49. So we'll see if that difference in the inner diameter actually translates to better consistency. Now, I will be using the MP5 again since it's the same platform I tested all the other nozzles on. Um, it is if you take the averages, it is within that 1.2, that 0.9 to 1.2 joule range. Uh, a few shots can be a little hot, but that's okay. Uh, so let's go ahead and get to the testing. Once again, I'm going to do the exact same test I did last time. It's going to be a full 30 round magazine, 3 seconds between each shot. The magazine is fully warmed up. It's ready to go. Okay, so I just finished doing a consistency test for the Waldo Custom. Now, I had to run this test twice because I wanted to run the test to compare the Waldo Custom to the VFC impasse on the same inner barrel I used last time, which was the 138 millimeter. This I used, it was at one joule. Then I want to bump that up to about 1.5 joule, 1.6 joule, because the Waldo Custom, I'm gonna put the graph right here. I'm gonna try to keep everything right here so it's not in the way. But the Waldo Custom did actually really well. At 1 joule, it was as consistent as the VFC impasse. And to be fair, that's what it says on the website, Waldo Customs website, that this joule is for 1.2 to 0.9 joules. And at that range, it did great. Okay, now here's the thing. The VFC impasse, when I ran these two, the Waldo Custom and the VFC impasse on the 2.7 millimeter inner barrel, this was about 1.5 to 1.6 joules. Clearly, the VFC impasse outperformed the Waldo Custom. So This one, the VFC impasse, I would say has way more range, very consistent. You can see it on the chart right here. But basically, those deviation numbers mean in a 30 round magazine, the difference between one shot and the next shot will be for the VFC impasse, it was like 3 something. I don't have the chart in front of me. And then for the Waldo custom, it was like 11 something. Okay, so the VFC impasse, very consistent at low joule and I'd say medium joule, right? 1.5, 1.6. So, in my honest opinion, I would say there really is no real benefit to the Waldo custom impasse. If you like the color red, you just want to accent something, I would say go ahead and pick it up. If you have access to a VFC rocket valve, the same con like this, and you can convert it to an impasse, that's your best bet. Also, the VFC impasse is cheaper than the Waldo custom. Okay, to get this shipped to me, I bought 2 of them. It cost me like 56 bucks, right? A lot of VFC systems come with this VFC impasse. Of course, I modified my MP5 to accept the VFC impasse, so that's why I was able to do that. Now, I'm have to wrap this video pretty quick because it's hot out here and my phone is going to overheat. But on Waldo Custom's website, they say that the consistency is due to the good consistency is due to the smaller opening on the rocket valve. I'm gonna have to call bullshit on that because as we can see, I did the comparison earlier, but the mouth on the VFC impasse is actually wider by more than a whole millimeter than the Waldo Custom, and it had great consistency at 1 joule all the way up to like 1.6 joule. Okay, now that good consistency, I'm gonna just use this one as an example. It's pretty much just due to the shape of the design of the rocket valve. Okay, Waldo Custom pretty much just copied the VFC rocket valve with one exception. Both the steel, the Bowmaster steel, the Bowmaster purple, the VFC stock impasse, they all have this knife edge right here with a taper. Okay, the Waldo Customs rocket valve doesn't have that. It has a slight taper right here, but not that good, and it has a step right here. Okay, so that might be where the consistency drops off. But for the most part, all of the good impasses that basically copied the impasse like this, they all share the same similarities. And I'm going to go through those real quick. So if you're familiar with fluid dynamics, you know you can apply the same principle to air. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to take a look at this real quick. So one good thing about this rocket valve is that it has these broad tapered shoulders. That is good for sealing against the inside of the nozzle. Okay, if you've ever had to do any head work on a car, on the valves, you know, the valve seats, you get a good seal by having as much surface area. Also, the angle of the seat, right, is important because that's what's going to seal. Okay, so and that's what we have here. Now, remember, the air is going to flow in like this. Okay, so this knife edge right here will cut the air. We're going to go hit this slant right here, and the air is going to flow nicely towards the back of the nozzle, right? That's going to give us that blowback. And what you don't want when you're flowing any kind of fluid is a 90-degree turn, and that's what we don't have here, right? This is not a 90. Okay, so if you have a 90, it's just going to come straight down, create a lot of turbulence. This edge will hit and then shoot off that way. That's also why we have this taper here. So when the air is coming down, this air that's coming straight right here will be interrupted by the air that's coming this way. It's going to hit that taper and it's going to flow that way. So this air is flowing that way. The air that's going to come here, it's going to be pushed by this air. Basically, it's going to have a nice flow directly into the mouth of, or out of the mouth of the nozzle. Okay. Also, we have this giant window right here that's there to catch a lot of air. Okay, that's pretty much as big as you can get it. The back is completely sealed to help direct the air out of the nozzle. Okay, and then we have this nice big open mouth right here to let all that air or gas pressure, whatever you want to call it, out. Okay, all the nozzles that performed really well were all the VFC copies. They all did super great. They all share the same design. I think where this one fell flat is one, that restrictive mouth, and two, you can see this one has a step right here. It's not a knife edge, and also it has that little step. So that's just my assumption. The proof is in the pudding. You guys can see it on the chart. So like I said, not worth the money unless you just want it.